Hi everyone, welcome back to the making chapter. If you're new here, this is only video number 2. I'm currently living in Japan, but in exactly 6 months I'm going to be moving back to the UK. That move is the driving force behind my Make 9 challenge. If you aren't familiar, Make 9 is a community challenge where people pick 9 projects to complete in a year. Because they need a wardrobe that's going to be able to survive the British weather, drizzle, sun, everything. Not much sun probably. While maintaining what I'm moving towards, more of a natural vintage aesthetic. I have to be intentional in what I'm choosing to sew from this point. No more random acts of sewing. That's the plan anyway. So, as much as I'd love to justify wearing something like my Bridgerton inspired dress every day, fashion in the UK has unfortunately moved forward a little bit from the 1700s. Even though there's nothing stopping me from wearing it, I suppose, to watch the latest series at home, I need something more practical, though perhaps still as enjoyable to wear in its own way. So project number 1 is going to be kind of my hero piece, I suppose. It's going to be a wrap dress, heavily inspired by Fleur, whose dresses I'm absolutely obsessed with at the moment. It's about taking that romantic, feminine feeling and silhouette and making it functional with swish. So I'm envisaging heavy linen, long sleeves, a skirt with enough weight to sort of catch the wind but not to blow away. I've made a wrap dress before from a Japanese pattern and there's lots of things I love about it, but there's definitely room for improvement. I found the waistline was a little bit high on me. It's super cute and I love the ruffle detail around it, but yeah, I think a waistline where it meets my more natural waistline will be more flattering. This time I'll be using this Japanese dress pattern book. It's like using a regular pattern like Simplicity or Vogue, but with about 100 times more possibilities of personalization. So you can change the bodice, the sleeves, the neckline, the skirt, anything you want. I'm going to be combining the natural waisted wrap bodice with this gathered wrap skirt. I want to wrap it a little further around somehow and be fuller than how it appears in the line drawings here, so I might need to hack the pattern a little to get the look I want. I'll be opting for a long, slightly ballooned sleeve with a sort of longer cuff. I'm thinking like 3 tiny buttons for that delicate vintage feel. I've attempted a sketch, but it doesn't really do it justice. And forgive my terrible handwriting, but I also think maybe not just having that regular v-neck of the wrap dress, maybe having something a little bit like the Darcy dress is what's inspired me by Fleur. It's got like this sort of ruffle collar going on here, so I might see if I can play around and try something like that. Project number 2, so I'm planning a Japanese style shirt. I'm a little indecisive on this one. I'm trying to choose between 3 patterns at the moment from these 2 books I've got here. This is the one that I'm leaning towards at the moment. So we've got like a pin tuck detail on the chest here, which I think is really nice, with a little gathered bit at the yoke, and then the back is also gathered as well. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go for something more simple like this white but a slight like threaded pattern to it, or the more of a pattern fabric. I think it will depend what suits this, what I'm planning to wear it with. But I think some of the tuck detail is kind of lost in the pattern fabric, so I think I probably will lean towards a plainer fabric on that one. So that's my number 1 choice, but I'm also tempted by, which is much simpler. So it's got a round collar, a little bit lower than where this top is sitting at the moment, which I quite like. Sometimes I feel a little bit like claustrophobic with necklines. No gathering at all on the front, just simple buttons. I like that one, or this one, though I'm not sure it's going to quite fit with my plans. It's got like a V-neck, not V-neck, a V kind of ruffle sewn in here. The picture doesn't really do it justice. But it's got this super cute bow detail and keyhole back, which I think is really nice. But it's definitely more of a summery shirt, so I'm not sure if it's something I'd actually get a lot of use out of in the UK. Here, if I'd stay here for another summer, I think it would have been great, but I'm not sure it's gonna need it, and I don't know how I feel about wearing a cardigan over the bigger ruffle on the edge there. So let me know in the comments which one you think I should go for. But whichever one I pick, I'm going to be aiming for that looser fit, that feeling of drape and softness. And that reminds me of one of my more recent pieces that I actually probably have worn the most out of anything I've ever made, actually. And that's my Japanese hooded, it's a hooded coat that I made from a Japanese pattern. So unlike traditional tailoring, I suppose, which is very rigid, this coat taught me how to work with a softer structure. I was a little bit intimidated because I've never worked with pure wool before, but it was quite straightforward. It's the pattern itself, it's long, it's open, it relies on the weight of the fabric to create the silhouette. So moving from that coat to one of these shirts is sort of my way of cementing that effortless, oversized look. So I don't want it to be about like a stiff collar, but how the fabric kind of moves and flows. I don't know, what do you think? Do you prefer structured, tailored clothes, or do you like the oversized, voluminous look? Sometimes it can just sort of swamp you. So I think it'll be about finding that balance between a shape and that, yeah, oversized feel. Moving on to the next project. It's going to be a skirt, but I've made a number of skirts before, some from patterns like Simplicity 9 180. I made it from a wool blend and it's so warm, but it's a little bulky around the hips. I'm quite pear-shaped as it is, so I think I'm already a bit self-conscious about bulk in that kind of area, and I often find it quite difficult to style as part of a whole outfit. So that's one skirt pattern that I followed, and I've made quite a few self-drafted skirts that have come out quite cute. In fact, my first ever project that I sewed was a self-drafted pleated skirt. I later tried to be a bit fancier and used this I found this unusual sort of raindrop fabric. I made my classic error, and please let me know I'm not the only one that's done this, but I made the skirt to fit my exact measurements, which sounds like it's exactly what you want to do. You want the skirt to fit you. However, I did not leave any ease to actually be able to move or breathe in the skirt. So now then, as I'm preparing this more cohesive wardrobe and moving towards more of this natural vintage look and choosing fabrics and designs that are going to last, pieces that are flattering, work together, comfortable, that's what I'm aiming for in Project 3. So Project 3 is going to be a self-drafted circle skirt. It's going to be my quick win. It's going to be the bridge between those previous skirts where I learnt so much, and one that's going to fit in with the shirt for Project 2, and one or two other pieces from my other Make 9 choices that I'll tell you about in a minute. So the skirt's going to have a fitted waistband, beautiful invisible zip, and be that simple full silhouette that I can wear with chunky boots or just like a classic smart shoe. Work really nicely when I'm in the UK. Project 4 is something a little bit different than all the things we've had so far on my list, and it's actually a knitting project. So I am a super baby knitter. I literally started knitting about 2 months ago. I think maybe I knitted, I don't know, something like this long when I was about 10, but I never knew how to cast it on, and I never knew how to cast it off or how to fix any holes. So I kind of started and then it just got put down and never touched again. Anyway, so I started about 2 months ago, and I want to now start breaking away from knitting a million headbands. They are very good. I love them. They are so soft and so warm, but I want to challenge myself a little bit. So this is going to be a real long one, and now that I'll be moving away from those sort of hot, sticky, humid summers here to the very unpredictable UK climate where knitwear is going to be much more of a year-round necessity, I thought a sweater would be a great challenge. So I'm going to knit the Late Checkout sweater by Kutova Kika. She's also on YouTube and her channel is amazing. I love all her projects, and she's got such a great, calm, soothing way about explaining all the steps. So I'm looking forward to knitting that one. I've had a little go at doing some swatches. This is my first attempt at blocking them out. This one was incredibly tight. so tight. I think I would have been knitting this one for like the rest of my life if I knitted it at this tightness. So I had another go here. This is a wider and longer panel as well, but it's much better. And then this is the ribbing part that we have to try. This one's going to represent a real slow living project, and I've taken the time to source wool that feels really sort of good against the skin. So I've got this beautiful soft alpaca merino, soft gentle pink. I thought it was going to be pinker than before it arrived, but I actually kind of love it. And then this lace weight, also alpaca and merino, this very gentle grey. So they mix together really beautifully. I'm quite chuffed with how it's turned out. This is going to be a massive cozy knit that fits perfectly into this romantic utility vibe, as I'm kind of coining it. And I'm hoping it's going to be the piece that I'll like wear on the plane when I finally make the move and I can cozy up on the plane. But 5 more projects to round out the 9. And these are the essentials that are going to fill the gaps. So again, the rule here is must match everything else. Project 5 is going to combine nicely with both the skirt and the dress plans I've got. And I'm actually going to sew up a proper petticoat and chemise, maybe even drawers, because I've got this beautiful pattern from Folkwear. And it's this full set of Edwardian underthings, so I'm not necessarily a historical sewer, but we got this lovely petticoat with this beautiful ruffle on the bottom, the drawers, which I think in the summer are going to be a godsend under a skirt. If you know, you know. But looking forward to some of those. Might try and lengthen them a little bit so that they're kind of coming to that skirt length that I'm looking at. And then this really delicate chemise camisole top. So I'm going to be using a really soft cotton lawn fabric for that, but I'm hoping to follow some of the like optional variations that they've got in there for adding some lace inserts and things to personalise it even more and give it just that little extra special finish. Yeah, so I'm excited for that, helping to give that more vintage silhouette, adding some warmth under the linen dresses, and a little bit of protection for my wrap dress. So if the wind does catch it, I'm good. I'm underneath, it's all good. Project 6. I'm currently halfway through making Vogue 8577 for the second time. I love this pattern, but it's extremely fabric hungry and it's quite fitted in the bodice. So project 6 is going to be kind of a little step away from this. I'm thinking of it as my like Japanese spring dress. Lightweight, airy, full of soft lines. And at the moment, oh, where's it got to? At the moment I'm thinking of using this 1950s vintage pattern, but it doesn't exactly scream Japan, even though it's super cute. So I'm going to keep an eye out for something perhaps even more special when all the spring pattern books are released here. Either way, I'm going to source some really beautiful fabric. So perhaps here in Osaka at my favourite store, Otsukaya, it's 5 floors of fabric, 5 floors of heaven, or perhaps a fun day trip into Kyoto. Something that's going to remind me of my time here in Japan. So that's project 6, another dress. Project 7 is going to be some trousers. So once again, you're noticing a pattern here. Pattern, no pun intended. But I'll be using another Japanese pattern book that I have. So this is similar to the dress one where you can kind of make your own adventure in a way. But it's just a book full of different ways, different types of trouser. The trousers are going to be high-waisted and pleated. I need these for the days I'm going to be exploring, go to work, when I don't want to wear a skirt, obviously. I think the style is so flattering. And the one that I've chosen is it's got sort of several, like 5 or 6 pleats on the front and more of a gathered look on the back, so it should pair well with the shirt, hopefully, or the sweater. Not sure what colour I'm going to go for yet. Maybe sort of like a heathered grey could be quite nice. I don't know if I'll go linen again or branch out to something else. I'll have to see what's available on the day when we go shopping. Yeah, so project 7, some high-waisted pleated trousers, very wide leg fitting. Project 8, because I'm going to be packing boxes couple of weeks, well, for the next 6 months probably. I want to feel human while I'm doing it, so I'm going to make myself a nice set of sort of luxury loungewear, cozy loungewear. I actually used this pattern before. It's a new look pattern, 6142. B view is the sort of men's style. I guess maybe it doesn't have such shape in the hips perhaps. And E is the women's view. It's got like a optional drawstring waist. And then I'm thinking of the zipped hooded jacket as well. Not sure about the camisole yet. I think I might just stick to the trousers and top. I think that'll be enough to be getting on with. Actually, as I said, I actually made these trousers before. And it was the first time I used like a sweater fabric. And because of the length of the leg that I wanted, and because I'm quite tall as it is, I'm sort of 178, so 5'10", and I'm literally all leg. Like my body is a perfectly average length, and it's just leg. So I always need to lengthen trousers, and I was like, right, these are going to be cozy, comfy trousers, so I'm going to extend them by quite a bit. I'm also going to extend the waist part so that I don't have to always be hoiking them up whenever I'm getting comfy, snuggly on the sofa. Well, I achieved my goal. They definitely pulled all the way up to probably about here. And the trouser was so long that even though I folded them over by this much twice, they're still underfoot. And I cut them on the length of the fabric rather than across selvage to selvage because I needed a long trouser. And the fabric does not seem to be happy with that because they are definitely getting longer every time I wear them. So they need a little bit of love, need a bit of sewing up. So I'm not going to make that mistake this time, and I'm going to choose a better fabric, and hopefully they will be actually showable to other people. Alright, last project is going to be another one I'm really excited about. It's the Sid Graham, who's a YouTuber who designs her own patterns. Her lane pants, absolutely love her patterns and her whole sort of aesthetic on her channel. I'm really excited about these. They're quite casual, quite utilitarian, and they're going to really balance out sort of the flowiness of the rest of my pieces whilst still being flattering and comfortable. I'm really excited about all of the pocket options. I don't know yet if I'm going to put the cargo pant pockets on the side or just have the waist pockets. You can have a drawstring waist or no drawstring waistband, but I'm pretty sure these are probably going to be the ones I'm going to want to wear on the plane. So I want something, I'm definitely going to pick the fabric that's quite soft and cozy. So yeah, that's project 9. So all of these pieces got a job to do, no more orphans. And planning this Make 9 while also planning this international move is quite exciting but quite bittersweet at the same time. But I think it's been the kick I need to think about refining my style, like which pieces do I actually, from what I've made, from what I've bought, are actually kind of serving me and do I wear and part of this sort of look I'm trying to achieve, and which are not worth taking on this move. So I think my past makes show I had the skills, but this challenge is definitely about that cohesive vision. I'm not just making clothes anymore, I'm making a wardrobe that I can carry with me that has a sense of unity to it. So I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own Make 9. We're just getting started on the making chapter. I'd love it if you tell me in the comments which of my 9 projects you think I should start with first. Will it be the wrap dress, the skirt, the Japanese shirt? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye.